What's going on, everybody? This is Justin with Me, Myself, and Dice, and I'm coming at you with a special video. Actually, two videos, because you guys answered the call and we reached 100 subscribers so fast. And not only that, we're at like 160 at the time of this recording. I mean, we just blew past that 100, and I'm just so honored and so grateful and so thankful to this community that I wanted to make two extra videos. I wanted to make a quick holiday gift giving guide. So the first video, this one, will be a video about solo games that I think are really cool, really good. Maybe some you played, some you haven't, some you've heard of, maybe some you haven't. Cool games to check out, to ask for the holidays, or to give yourself, because we all do that. Or if you're watching this video and you know someone who solo games and want a good list of some good picks, I think you'll find at least one here. The second video we're going to make is for those who are interested in the miniatures painting side of this channel. We are growing that community as well, and there's so much overlap between the solo gaming community and the hobby painting community. And that is a special part of the hobby to me. And so if you're just curious about getting started painting and want to try it out, or if you've been painting for a long time, that gift giving video will be for you. Before we get started, I do want to do a disclaimer. Although this video is not sponsored at all, I wanted to give quick links so that you could easily find any of the stuff that I mentioned here and maybe a few things more. And they are Amazon affiliate links down in the description below. Yes, the channel does get some money if you go through that, but it doesn't cost you any extra, and it just goes back into helping make this channel better. However, if you can support your friendly local game store, then I encourage you to go to them and see if you can get it through them first. Everybody's been hurting through this pandemic, and especially our small local gaming stores could really use the help. So if you can do that, then please do. And if not, then think about using those Amazon affiliate links below. Okay, let's get to the games. The first game that I want to bring to you is a good stocking stuffer. If you have any interest at all in escape room style games, this is one that I keep a fresh one in my bag whenever I travel or something like that. Something that I can play solo or play with other people. And that's always a good thing for me. And that is the Deckscape series of games. As you can tell, this one's not open. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to a chance to play it. But this, out of all of the escape room style games, this one seems to just really resonate with me a lot more. Partially because it's a whole escape room in one little small deck. It's a little bit more portable than some of the other ones. And I haven't found a dud in these yet. So I've put a link below to the Alcatraz one, which I have not tried, but I've heard is really good. And you can go from there. It'll at least get you started. And that is Deckscape, an escape room deck game. The next game that I suggest is one we have a playthrough for on the channel. So if you want to see more about that, boop, link. And this is just a really cool game. Actually, I thought this game would be a lot less cool than it was. And then I played it and I was just really mesmerized with it. In fact, there will be more playthroughs coming on this channel of Warp's Edge. That's right, Warp's Edge is a fun bag building game where your tokens in your bag that you pull out each turn are your turns and are your actions. And to get more actions, you have to figure out which ones you want to use, how to buy more, which ones to buy. It's a great puzzle game trying to figure out how to get that end boss, that mothership, down and beaten. It's really good. It scales in difficulty, so it doesn't have to beat you up all the time, but if you want a challenge, it's there. And I just got the Viren Invasion expansion, and I am really excited about this. So there will be more playthroughs coming on the channel, but Warp's Edge is one I highly recommend. The second game that I'll suggest actually has two links below. It's Star Realms Frontiers. Now, Star Realms came out and I loved it. It was the size of a regular deck of cards, about double the thickness, and you could play head to head and really just have a quick deck building battle head to head against another person. But that's part of the problem. As fun as it was, there was no solo in it to begin with. Well, now with Star Realms Frontiers, there is a solo mode and it is fun. You get all the satisfaction of building up your deck and going from dealing 1 or 2 points of damage at the beginning to 15-20 minutes later dealing 30-40 points of damage in a turn. just amazing. It's challenging, it's fast, it's fun, and it comes in a small box. The second link that comes with Star Realms Frontiers is a bundle pack that I found, and it includes 2 more expansions, and it just adds more cards, more combos. It's just so fun, adds to the replayability. So I have both links to those down below. But Star Realms Frontiers is a fantastic game with a good solo mode, and it's loved by a lot of people in the solo community. So if you're interested, check that one out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The third game that I want to mention is another game that we have played on this channel. Boop. That's right, Marvel Champions. Marvel Champions has very quickly in the last year climbed up into my favorite games of all times. It is just so much fun. You feel like you're playing a hero, and not just some unnamed hero, but the heroes that I grew up loving in the Marvel Universe, like Spider-Man or Captain America. And it's just so great because you're battling against enemies that you've read about, and you're recreating all these great battles and telling new stories that you get to direct. And it's just so fun, and it's so combo-tastic. And that's a word that I love to use because you really get to where you can play some really cool cards down and just deal some mega damage, or really just negate that threat that's really just coming up and threatening to end your game. It's so much fun. We've played it on the channel, and if you have Marvel Champions and you have not gotten the Rise of the Red Skull expansion yet, I also have a link for that down below, because I think that really starts to show the opportunity that Marvel Champions is offering. There's just so much variety. There's so many little things they can do with the mechanics. There's so much to keep you coming back. But even if you haven't gone into Marvel Champions, the base game is plenty. It'll keep you busy for a while. You don't need to go down the hole of getting every expansion every month, but you can get what you want when you want it, and it's so great. I love it. Marvel Champions, watch the playthrough and see if that's a game for you. And if you haven't picked it up, I highly suggest it. Marvel Champions. The next game I want to talk about is another one that we're playing right now on the channel, in fact, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, I did not buy into the Gloomhaven hype at first. I didn't participate. I have this thing against Kickstarters. I'm very particular on what Kickstarters I back. Gloomhaven, I thought it was going to be a Kickstarter only, and that really turned me off. But it's become a big hit. But the box size and the price tag and the organization that's needed for it to keep it somewhat on the same level to play, that always just kind of turned me off, so that I never got into Gloomhaven. But Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion is a step kind of backwards to start over, because it has, one, that tutorial scenario, the 4 scenario walkthrough that just gets you up to speed, and I have really enjoyed that. I have not minded the tutorial training wheels that they've put on it. But now, after recording the 4th session, where they've taken the training wheels off, I am in love with it. It is fantastic. It is definitely a great game that you feel making some great moves and tactical decisions and combos. I can't speak highly enough about it. In fact, we're doing a painting series where we're painting all of the Gloomhaven heroes, all 4 of them, a tutorial series, and I've gotten good response off the Red Guard. So Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, I can't speak highly enough about it. It has really just blown my socks off. So speaking of games in my top games of all time, one of those is definitely Spirit Island. It's behind me. It's probably right out of shot up there. But Spirit Island, first of all, I love civilization games. I like being the civilization that goes in and settles a new land and expands and explores and exploits and exterminates and all that stuff. That's fun. But there was something about this theme that you are the spirit of an island, and the colonization, the colonists are invaders, and they're blighting the land, and it is hurting the land. It's so antithetical to all of the civilization themes. It was so fresh, and I just love the theme, but the gameplay is so solid. You play a spirit, you are awoken by the invaders coming onto your land, and you work with the natives that you have reached an equilibrium with, and you slowly wake up and build your power back up to the point where you're literally moving Earth and washing them off the land with the ocean. You are a spirit trying to reclaim the purity of the land in which you inhabit. It is so good. Solo one-handed, solo two-handed, with a group. It's just fantastic. It can be brain burnery, and I love it. So if you haven't tried Spirit Island, give it a try. It is fantastic. And if you have played Spirit Island, the Jagged Earth expansion has just come out, and it is fantastic. I really love it. What it adds to the game: more spirits, more stuff, but some more challenges and some new twists and turns. So if you like Spirit Island, check out the Jagged Earth expansion. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Speaking of themes that I really like, racing themes. I am a sucker for racing themes, whether you're racing camels around a pyramid, ships around Jamaica, bicycles in the Tour de France, anything like that. But especially car racing. I just have a soft spot. There's something about jockeying for position, knowing when to speed up, knowing how to take a turn. It's just the sweet spot for me. And Rallyman GT is a game that when it came out on Kickstarter, I looked at it and I was in love. I really liked the mechanics. It looked like a good mix of pressing your luck and strategy. And it has delivered. So much so that I've backed the second Kickstarter, Rallyman Dirt, which comes out next summer. But Rallyman GT is a phenomenal game. The dice have gear numbers on them. You use that to plot your path. You try to take the best line. You try to go as fast as you can, and you try to brake at strategic points. It's great. And then you have the decision once you plot your route. Do I press my luck and roll all of my dice at once, knowing that that could make me crash? Or do I go safe and roll them one by one? And it's big risk, big reward, and taking that chance, it gives some stand-up moments. It gives some great overtakes. It's just fantastic. It is a very good racing game. It has replaced pretty much every auto racing game in my collection. And I really mention this highly here because there is a phenomenal solo community around this game. The original Rallyman had a great solo community that has converted over or merged into the Rallyman GT community. And during this pandemic, Holy Grail Games has adopted a lot of the stuff from that community. There are 2 official bot systems now where you can race other cars that are AI controlled, and you can pick which one you like the best because they're both fantastic. But coming over from the original Rallyman, there is a monthly time trial. You post your time, and at the end of the month, beginning of the next month, they give you the winners and where you ranked in that, and that is fantastic. And Holy Grail Games puts out a newsletter each month during this pandemic in support of the solo communities. They give new tracks, they have track building contests, they have articles, so much stuff that's just free, and just there is a love there for this game that I don't see in a lot of other games. So definitely a game if you are interested in racing at all, interested in a little bit of pressure luck and some strategy and building tracks and getting in with the solo community online, this is a great game to do it. Rallyman GT. One of my other top games of all time is Nemos War. It is, to me, a solo-only game. It does say cooperative, it does say competitive, but the solo mode is what it's built around. Now, I played first edition of Nemos War, and it was great. But I was so excited that they reworked the rules and they came out with a second edition of it that I just jumped on immediately. It is such a great game. You tell such great stories. And although the rules don't change, the motive you pick for Nemo determines how you approach the game. And it's just a phenomenal game. A game that's slightly deceiving because if you watch just 5 or 10 minutes of someone playing the game, it's a lot of dice rolling. And I'm not big on dice resolution. But once you start playing it, you realize that it's a resource management game. It's also sort of an area control board management game. But I think the real crux and the real beauty of it is it's a resource management game where the dice mitigation is your main resources. And you have to manage those and know when to use them, know when to take a chance, know when to take a loss. And it gives you that stand-up moments that most of those thematic games with dice-driven, dice resolution, it gives you some of those moments. It gives you some of those down moments where the dice will hose you, but you're in control of when that's going to happen and when it's not. It's such a phenomenal game, and the more I play it, the more in love I am with it. They just did a Kickstarter for the last expansion to finish off the game, and an Ultimate Edition. but you can get the second edition for a really good price and be very happy with it. It is a fantastic game. Nemos War, check it out. And then my last two games are going to be completely different games. The first game is actually a book, Rangers of Shadow Deep. This is, well, this is the deluxe edition of the book. It is fantastic. You can get the PDF as well, but I highly suggest this because for a reasonable price, you actually get the first two books, I believe, in one bound edition. And this is a miniatures game. If you've ever been curious about playing a miniatures game at all, then this one is great, and it's solo. So you can pull out any figures you have lying around. I have all of Descent 2nd edition and all of those fantasy miniatures, and I have lots of dungeon crawl games with fantasy miniatures, so you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. You can just raid your closet of games and pull out the miniatures there and set it up. It's really easy to get into. The rule set's very simple, but very deep. There's a lot there, and the story is great. And there is a vibrant community on Facebook for Rangers of Shadow Deep, and it's just amazing. It's amazing what people come up with. You can make it as small or as big as you want. You can scale the size of the playing table. It's just so versatile, and it's focused on solo play. Rangers of Shadow Deep is telling a great story, and I really, really have enjoyed building my group and going through this story. Rangers of Shadow Deep, you really should check it out. If you've never played a miniatures game, you can get the book, read through it. It's great. It's great reading. There's some great story there, even if you don't want to play the miniatures game. But I highly suggest it. Rangers of Shadow Deep. And the final game is for all of you heavy Euro lovers out there. This is tied with my favorite game of all time. If I ever do a top games of all time list, you will see this at the top, and I won't tell you what it's tied with, but it is definitely, I could not tell you which one of the two is my favorite, but this one is Gaia Project. Gaia Project is the successor to Terra Mystica. It is moving up tracks. There is territory control in it, but it's all about building and comboing together and resource management. And it's a very, very tight game. It can be a hard and brutal game, but man, is it so rewarding. Is it so fantastic. And my brain is mush after I play it, but as I put it away, I can't wait to play it again. Actually, usually when I get it out, I leave it up on the table and play a few games over a few days in a row. Gaia Project is so fantastic. And it has the Automa Factory Automa system, which means that the same people who brought us all the Automas for the Stonemaier games, including Wingspan, Tapestry, and Scythe, has done the Automa for Gaia Project. And it is fantastic. Every race you play against acts completely differently, and you have to adjust to get the benefits of your race versus beating out the benefits of the other race. And it's just, it's fantastic. I can't speak highly enough about this game, Gaia Project. If you like Euros and you like brain burners at all, then this, in my opinion, is a must-have. And there you go. Those are my solo games. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you found something new, something that's made you curious, something you want to look at. I hope that if you are coming to this trying to figure out something to buy for a loved one or a friend, then you found something that's like, oh, I think that person will like this. If you have any questions or any suggestions for others, please, this is a community project. Put your suggestions down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like, smash that subscribe, and tap that bell icon so that you're notified when we have other videos go up. Again, we do painting videos, we do playthroughs, and we're going to have part 2 of this holiday gift list. If you are ever curious about what to get and how to start with painting, or if you've been painting and want to see some things that maybe you haven't seen before, that's going to be the place for you. So until next time, thanks for watching and happy gaming.